Man goes nonstop. He's got a motor, and everybody who knows him and clearly loves him, because if you know him, you love him. It's contagious. Bellator 228 Saturday to September 28th, right here in Los Angeles, right up the street from us at the Forum in Inglewood, California. You see him on Fox NFL programming nonstop as well. He's got the scoopage. He's got the fighters. He's got an incredible gym, Unbreakable. He is also one of the founders of an incredible organization for vets and players, merging vets and players, Jay Glazer in the Honda Insider Report, among other items here on the Rich. Good to see you, sir.
You too, brother. How we doing?
I'm great. Good to see you.
You too, man.
So
I look fantastic, don't I?
You know what, Jay?
Thank you for noticing.
You know what? I was going to go in that direction.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me just describe for the radio audience just how chiseled you are.
Yes, let's do that, please. I'm single, so put it out there.
No. You know, the goat that you've got working right now is nice and trim. I mean, you've got it working. You've got it all going, brother. You're in mid-season. You're in postseason.
Sponsored by Tinder, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, let's swipe right on the NFL then. Here,
I don't do that. I couldn't do that. Could you imagine if I was on Tinder? Those dudes,
by the way,
on the show would murder me. They would get that. And could you imagine
Jay,
the Howies and the Terrys? And oh my God!
You don't need that.
A Tinder profile for Strahan though.
Okay.
And I got it here on my phone. Okay. Obviously, he's not on Tinder, but I have it here. It's fantastic.
For Strahan?
For Strahan. And we're sitting at Thanksgiving dinner one night.
Yes.
And I said to his mom, I said, hey, Mom, apparently daytime TV isn't all that it's cracked up to be because your son signed up for a little thing called Tinder.
How'd that work?
And he went, what is that? She goes, Michael, what is this Tinder thing about? He said, Mom, it's about Jay being a bleep, 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 bleep. He said, and it looked perfect. He's like, you better. I said, I didn't sign up for Tinder. You signed up for Tinder.
Good Morning America. Good Morning America,
it was one of the many
ladies and
times he was going to try and kill me in my life.
Good
Yes.
old Stray. When did you first meet him? Was it in a locker room?
1993. He was the first friend I ever had in this business ever. So 1993, first week of practice.
Yeah.
Again, this guy got drafted to replace Lawrence Taylor, and he has bad teeth and a speech impediment, although he doesn't realize it.
And in a school that I'm sure not a single
Texas
Giants
and
fan
grew up in
watched a down of football for.
And grew up in Germany, so he didn't really fit. I didn't fit in with the other reporters at all. We didn't get along at all. And Michael and I had no one to talk to. So there was a guy who used to be an executive with the Giants. And again, nobody would talk to Michael and I. And this guy, really, really pale guy, was an executive, and he's high up there in the organization. And he already had a lazy eye, and it's very pale, like an albino type guy. And he goes, the Giants, he's trained at Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Yes.
And they have these two fields. So one field up here, and then there's a little fence, jump over, and you go down. And Dan Brees is the coach. Well, everyone runs around the fence except for this dude. And as he goes to jump over, and he's about in his 50s, but he looked like he was 80, and his shorts catch on the fence, and boom, he falls down on the hill. Boom, he goes all the way down, and he comes up, and there's a big piece of sod in his head here. He has a lazy eye, so it already looks like he's kind of knocked out. He looks like in the cartoons, like the birds are flying around his head. Yeah. So nobody is laughing except for two morons.
You and Stray.
Me and Strahan. And we are not just laughing. You know his laugh. He has that big howl. And I'm like the guys from Dumb and Dumber, like,
Right.
And nobody laughed. And afterwards, he comes over to me. He goes, hey, I think I was waiting for an interview with him. He's like, hey, oh my God, thank God for you. Because there was one other person laughing. The dude never talked to either one of us ever again.
But you and Stray are BFFs
Me and Stray
forever.
are BFFs, man.
How much money did you give out on the pyramid this year? Did you give out? How much did you?
I got to the winner's circle.
So did I.
Yes.
And did you give out $50,000?
No, I didn't
50? Did you get to the top?
Is this your way of shaming me?
No, because I couldn't get.
I got her a trip. I got my. Let me tell you something though. We're talking $100,000 pyramid, one of Strahan shows, right?
Yeah.
So
you were on the day. Buddy, you were shooting the day I was there too. You shot. Yeah, you did the early. I did the late.
I walked down.
Yeah.
World champion fighters to the cage.
Yeah.
We've both done Super Bowls.
I know.
I'm on a comedy on HBO. I've never been more nervous in my entire life than when I'm up there in the winner's circle. Because I don't know what it is, but it's like I'm playing for $100,000 for that girl.
Right.
And if I don't win it, I feel like I lose her dream and $100,000. And for the record, her clues were terrible.
Wow.
Well,
my fault.
And I will say
Wasn't
this,
my fault at all.
and then we'll move on to football here before Bellator as well. I felt the same pressure. Okay.
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying. I
don't
wanted
know
to
why.
win, and I wanted to win for the young lady that was across from me too. But There is an I in Rich and Eisen. I was and I told this to Constance Schwartz.
Yeah, Con got us on, right?
Right, and I told this to Stray, and I told this. I was waiting my entire life to get into the winner's circle for the $100,000.
You watched it as a kid,
My entire life, I wanted to get in the winner's circle, and I wanted to do it for me as much for her. And she said the word of a clue. And it got buzzed, but we got all the way to the top. Anyway,
mine were.
It was amazing.
I got 3 or 4 in, and then the last one I couldn't get. And I'm sitting there again, man. I've fought myself. Like again, we do Super Bowls in front of 114 million people. You know, you're nervous to. I'm not nervous to mess up there.
Well, I know it's
but
not.
I'm nervous to mess up on Stray's freaking $100,000 pyramid.
I know, but it's not like you're going to be like, okay, Brees. Onside kick, things Sean Payton would do. Like, that's not the way. You're just going to go, Sean Payton went into the locker room. And like, you're going to do it your own way. It's a totally different
I won my girl a
format.
trip. I was happy about that.
Oh, that's good.
To Peru or Panama.
Cash and prizes. Jay Glazer here on the Rich Eisen
I'm getting
Show.
nervous talking about it.
And the Honda Insider Report.
It scarred me.
Okay, let's talk about some of the hot topics in the NFL, and then we'll move on again to Bellator 228, and then MVP, because you're here for the rest of the hour. If I had to ask Cam Newton playing another game this year, yay or nay?
I'm surprised he hasn't. Look, when you talk about the Liz Frank injury,
yes,
that's surgery, the solution surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to play through Liz Frank because those bones basically move apart from each other more and more and more. And
in the bottom of the foot too, right?
And he's had, I don't know if it's the same foot he's had issues with in the past, ankle, but that's the type of thing you need surgery for. It's not really something you could tough it out. And if it gets worse and worse and worse, you end up not getting the screws inserted. You may have to fuse it, but you kind of look at the way they were playing. Teams have been giving him running lanes to take, and he won't take it. And he won't take it, I'm sure, because he feels like he can't take it. But that's a totally different Cam Newton, right? The Cam Newton that you have to fear is the guy that's the double threat. And then look, all these, Panther fans were up in arms that down to that 4th down goal play, they didn't give it to Cam Newton to sneak it in. I don't know why they're upset. You give it to your best player. Christian McCaffrey's their best player. It's not Cam Newton. It's Christian McCaffrey. So they did right there by giving it to him. We can't live in the past. But yeah, if it's this Liz Frank, usually surgery. Almost all the time, surgery is the solution. I don't know how you toughen it out and how it suddenly will get better.
Well, you said you can't live in the past, and the question is Cam looking to the future and perhaps trying to avoid the knife?
But he shouldn't. If he wants to go to the future, then you put the screws in and because you don't want to. Because this is it's a thing where if you don't fix it and it gets worse, you may have to fuse it. So you don't want to get to that point.
No, I understand that.
I got my medical degree at $100,000.
Well, you've had this, and Stray's had it. So the question,
I didn't have it. Stray had it. I've had everything else. Trust me. Oh my God.
But if Kyle Allen continues to ball out, have we reached this point in Carolina where Cam's end game has arrived way sooner
Not if
than
you
we
can get him back
expected?
to what he used to be, but I can't answer the question. Only they can. He's got to be that double threat. He's got to be a double threat. And right now on a foot with that kind of injury, it's so painful. From the Strays, our friends who've had it, it's so painful to walk, to do anything. It's like plantar fascia times 10. Which is awful.
So then I guess last one here. Knowing what you know and what you may have heard, do you think Carolina is even having these thoughts based on Kyle Allen and how well he's now twice
performed
this offense? Well, Week 17 last year too, and I know it is just one game.
I don't know. You're not going to base everything off of that. No.
Okay.
You need some more time in there. I love the guy they got behind him too, Will Greer. Love him.
So
loves him in the draft.
Maybe this is the future then. The future
I
is
love
now.
him in the draft, but it might be. But listen. If Cam Newton ends up coming back to what Cam Newton, even if it's 80% of what Cam Newton had been, he's still top 10 quarterback in this league. The threat he gives.
Jay Glazer here in the Honda Insider Report. Why isn't Dak signed long term right now?
I think they were getting close, and then he had that week 1. I think his side was like, let's hold on a little bit there. Let's hold on. Hey, listen, I've been saying it. I've been preaching Dak Prescott's gospel for a while. Mm-hmm. That position. The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is unlike any position in the NFL. You can't just judge the guy by what he does with his arm. And this is why Troy Aikman is such a gangster, because that position is the center fielder for the Yankees, the center for the Lakers, and the shortstop for the Red Sox, all wrapped up in one. The attention that gets put on that position in American sports is unlike anything else. And the way Dak has handled it, it's not just on the field. Like, this guy will, like when Amari Cooper first got there, immediately he's like, Amari, got to get you to eat better. Hey, we're going to talk about your sleeping pattern. Like, he's different. He's a leader. And now the fact that his play is online with his leadership, I think he's looking to go, I'm going to try and be now, instead of one of the highest paid, but I don't think anybody's worried about it. They love him. He loves them. They'll get it done at one point.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the price is going up.
It certainly is.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I certainly would. Yes.
To 40? What do you think? 40?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I've talked. I don't know about that. What are we at right now for QBs?
35 would be
for Goff?
would make it. Yes, would
35
surpass
is what
Goff.
Goff is?
Right. 34 is
No,
where
34
Goff
is what Goff is, right?
Hold on, I'll check.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somewhere
can't
around
count.
that. I mean, it's still. I mean, at this point, it's all an absurd amount of money.
I mean, they were getting close that week, and then I mean, hey, he rolled the dice on himself, and God, another thing that makes a guy like you kind of want your quarterback to roll the dice on himself, have that kind of confidence.
Right.
But man, he is. I'm telling you, and people used to rag on me, which is so hard to believe that anybody say anything negative on Twitter.
Right.
But people used to rag on me for being such a Dak supporter. But I know what goes into that position. There are backup linebackers in that locker room who kind of feel heat and attention that star players of other teams do. The Dallas Cowboys are different than everybody else.
Well, it's what's the number, Chris? That's right there.
In terms of yearly average, Russell Wilson is first, $35 million.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
The way he's playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what's amazing too about the Cowboys?
Yes.
Look, we all talk about Jerry and Stephen Jones, the owners, but Jerry and Stephen Jones and Will McClay, the GM,
yes,
has become one of the best GMs in the NFL.
These kids are talented. They're
how they've
fast.
drafted,
right?
Who they brought in,
right?
How they've gotten to re-sign them.
Yes.
You know, not a lot of teams were able to could shift things around smartly. But look they got a defensive end they paid. They have one of the best defensive ends in the league, the best young linebacker tandem in the league, one of the best corners in the league, the best offensive line in the league, one of the best left tackles in the league, one of the best guards in the league, one of the best centers in the league, the best running back in the league.
Right.
Well, I mean, they've done a phenomenal job building this team just as the general manager. If you just look at them as GM and take out all the other stuff, you go, wow, they have done an incredible job. Because the Cowboys is so much attention, everything else gets thrown up. But they have done, they have done between Stephen Jones and Jerry and Todd over there and Will McClay, they've been fantastic.
Jay Glazer here on the Rich Eisen Show on the Honda Insider Report. And then a big game Sunday night. You're as tight with Sean Payton as anyone I know.
Who?
Yeah, no, the coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton.
He's rich now, too.
I know that. The Brees is a 6-week thing? Best you could tell? Or
yeah, it could be a little sooner than that.
Sooner
but
than
yeah,
that.
they put this special thing in. It's like new thing. It's kind of braced under the skin. It's pretty, new stuff's coming out. But he's, look, guys like Drew, guys like Brady, guys like Manning, they attack rehabs as hard as they attack a playbook.
Attack a defense.
Yeah.
But to me, I was surprised that we didn't see more Taysom Hill. To me, I don't know if it was just the way that the game was dictated, that Sean would take this personally, that people think, well, it's a backup quarterback, see it for the Saints. I'm wondering what's his mindset.
So he doesn't think Teddy's a backup quarterback too. He thinks Teddy's a starting quarterback in this league. We actually, I just did a feature for Fox NFL Sunday last week with the two Seans.
Yeah, McVay.
With McVay and Payton, right?
In a white room.
In a white room. It was great. They were like the two of them were with me, but they weren't. But they were talking to each other, which is great because I got them to talk to each other.
Even though they were not in the same room.
Yes, I got them to talk to each other, which is fantastic.
Right.
But Sean Payton and I were just sitting there before, and I just somehow I don't remember how Teddy came up, but he's like, oh, he's a starting quarterback. He's a legit, and he's already been there. He's a legit starting quarterback, and it wasn't him trying to sell me. We're just talking about him, so I know how he really feels about him.
Well, so are we? It's just going to be let's stick with Teddy and get him up to speed, and hopefully
until Drew gets back.
Until Drew gets back,
absolutely.
Not in a more increased usage of Taysom.
No, it depends what the game plan is. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, look, Sean's a little evil genius, right?
Right.
So
I'm trying to figure that out.
I think every week you'll see something. Like if there's games where he knows he can get certain matchups. Look, I'm sitting there in his office with him last year in the playoffs. I did a Michael Thomas feature. So I went down there and Sean said, hey, and he's talking about who they're playing that week. Eagles, right? Eagles. We play the Eagles that week. And he goes, hey, let me show you something we're going to do for Michael Thomas. And he ends up pulling up this play. That was a Colts-Vikings game from 3 years earlier that he saw at one point, and he's just, this will work well here. He goes, we're just going to switch. And he showed me this play, and I'm like, when does that play? And that goes to Kyle Rudolph. He goes, yeah, but so we're going to put Michael over here. We're going to do this. I said, you came up with this from 3 years ago? He goes, yeah, it's just been sitting in there. So these guys are different.
That's why you sit down to two Seans like that.
Right.
Before we take a break and we'll come back, talk Bellator and MVP. Melvin Gordon's holdout anywhere near ending? What do you think here?
I think he was kind of hoping. Well, I know he's not going to be Le'Veon Bell. That's so he has a couple weeks left before he has to show up.
Right. They're 1-2. They could use him.
They
I don't know if that's the reason why.
But I think he's sitting there. I think he was sitting there going, okay, when you guys need me, okay, but I don't.
But Telesco's not going to welcome him back with a new contract.
No, I don't see that either.
Right?
No. So it's hard when these things happen. You got to somehow get the player to save face and the team to save face, and somehow they almost got to sit down. Okay, how are we going to do this so both of us save face? Some teams are like, we're not going to do that. We don't care. No one else is saving face. We're good. Other teams will go, let's figure out a way for someone to save face.
Back with Jay Glazer. We're going to talk Bellator, and again, more on his fantastic organization, merging vets and players. That's next on the Rich Eisen Show. World Arm Wrestling League presents the WAL Supermatch Showdown Championships in Atlanta. Stream this pay-per-view event tomorrow, 8 Eastern, only on BR Live. And then coming up Saturday, September 28th, on your calendar at the Forum, right up the road here in Inglewood, California. Bellator 228 streaming live exclusively on DAZN at 10 Eastern Time. Prelim action will stream on DAZN, Bellator.com, and globally on the Bellator mobile app. Jay Glazer is back here for another segment.
Hosting that this Saturday night. And I'm cornering Ava Knight over there at the same
Women's
night.
strawweight. Ava Knight will be part of the prelims.
Three-time world champ in boxing. She's making her MMA debut. Me and Randy Couture and Jason Borber got her.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then I'll be on a few hours later on Fox NFL Sunday.
So it's a big,
and then I'll sleep in February.
That's what it's all about now. That's what it's all about.
Can't stop.
Oh, tell me more about 228, brother.
Oh, man, we have the World Featherweight Grand Prix, and we just had the first bracket of it. This next bracket, we'll have the champ in there, Patricio Pitbull. We'll go against Juan Archuleta, who's on Kingdom, and he's 23-1, and this dude he is a freight train. So that's a title fight, but it's actually in the bracket for the Featherweight Grand Prix, which is pretty sick. And
16-man Featherweight World Grand Prix.
And winner gets $1 million. So we've had first 8. Next 8 will be over here. It's a kid named AJ McKee who's fighting on it, who's undefeated. His father, legendary fighter, he's fighting in the prelims. So he's been retired. He's coming out, so he'll have a father-son both fighting. And then Lyoto Machida, who is a former world champ, goes against Gegard Mousasi, who's been a former world champ, just lost his title recently in Bellator, and they're going to go at it. So 2 legends go at it in our main event. It's going to be great, man. I love Bellator. I've done them all. I've done Elite XC, Strikeforce, Pride. I was the first broadcaster of an MMA show in America. We did the Pride Fighting Championships over on Fox Sports Net. And since then, I've done them all. Did the UFC. Now I'm doing a Bellator. And Scott Coker, who runs it, man, I love him. He's a true martial artist. And he takes care of the guys who've been around for a while. I love him.
And the Forum's a heck of a
it's legendary.
It's
unbelievable. I literally still wait to wake up in 5th grade and none of this stuff ever happened. God has blessed us, buddy.
I know that. I do have dreams sometimes that I've skipped a class or something, and everything,
can't believe.
everything afterwards is not going to happen.
In 1 week of my life, we're sitting there. We got Fox NFL Sunday, we got inducted into the Broadcast Hall of Fame this year.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got it.
Then I'm on Ballers, which is a comedy that I'm on, which, as you know, I'm not an actor, but suddenly I have 5 years of that. Then I'm hosting Bellator at the famous Forum. It's just when am I going to wake up and none of this has really happened. I'm in 5th grade, and then not only do I wake up, but I wake up in 5th grade, and it's my mom waking me up, and it's even worse.
Well, the one thing, I love it. Well, in the few minutes we have left here, Jay, I want to hit MVP because I've seen you in action there. Now, a lot of folks might not have ever seen you in action. There have been some pieces on it. And I know
It's what I'm best at in my life, I think. Actually.
you are amazing. And guys, you guys have to come with me to an Unbreakable gym to the Unbreakable gym to watch.
We have an MVP session tonight that Dan Quinn is running at the Falcons facility.
Is that right?
He's part of it, yeah. And Dan, for his own kind of mental health, does it.
Well, again, what it's for is you realize that players coming off the field in any sport or the court or wherever in any sport, it's similar to veterans coming home that they know one way of life and now they have to figure out what's next.
You miss your team. You miss your locker room. And that's the biggest thing. We're giving these guys a locker room. It's a bunch of badasses empowering other badasses. And, it's, all our football players. And I'm proud that football players who know me from TV are now reaching out, seeing MVP, calling me saying, hey, I'm retired, and man, I'm not in a good place. I see this is what you guys are doing now. I need some help. More and more players, I'm really proud of them because it takes courage to do that, are reaching out saying, I need some help. And, we have our vets. Our vets are kind of ingrained to go get help. They have the VA. They know they have to get it. So that's one thing. But we don't do it in a clinician type of way. You come into our place, we're trying to show all our pro athletes out there, you playing in the NFL, that's not who you are. Your greatness is that what was behind your ribcage to beat out millions of people to play in the NFL. That's who you are. But all of a sudden, when the locker room's gone and you're sitting there by yourself and nobody's telling you who to go with, where to go, when to eat, when to practice, the roommates in your head start talking and you're isolated. That's not good. I'm trying to get them all not to be isolated. Come join our team. And same with our vets. They go home and they're isolated and they think they're different this way. Oh, I'm different. I'm like, no, you're different. Well, different is good. Different leads to success.
You watch them share their stories. I mean, Susie and I went to one a month ago, and we're going to come back, if not Wednesday, then the following. And to be able to sit here and listen to the vets share their stories so freely, and then to everyone to realize that we all have something going on.
We're very vulnerable there, which I'm proud of. We've all cried in there. I think the night you were there, right, we had a vet come in who called us. He said, guys, I did something you guys, and there's like 70 of us in there every week. We're in 4 different cities throughout this country. We had a vet who comes in and said, hey, I just had a bad situation. I had one of my teammates, veteran, supposed to come over on a Saturday, and he called me Friday, and I didn't answer the phone because I'm like, I'm tired, I'll see him tomorrow, and he killed himself. And he said, I blame myself. And our entire group immediately, no, that is not on you, brother. That is not on you. It has nothing to do with you. And then I said, hey, who here in this room has tried to take their own lives? But 50 hands went up. And I said, that's what you leave over when you do this. But it's the power of suggestion. We're all seeing it on social media, where people see it so much now. And yes, you have to talk about it, but it can't be what you do. It can't be the power of suggestion. Well, I see something. That's a lot of our vets. They see teammates doing it, and they see everybody crying for them, so they go, why not me? We're at a, I don't know if we have time for a quick one here.
We've got about 50 seconds left.
We're at an MVP in New York. We have guys from a unit called the 2-7. Roger Goodell's right here, and they just had their 45th suicide in one unit. And and I said to him, as much as this sucks, think of your strength. Think of how strong you have to be to withstand 45 of your brother's suicides, and I think 75 total in battle and suicide. I said, I can't do that. Think how strong you are. I said, Roger, can you do it? And Roger's sitting there, quivering up. He said, I couldn't do it. And Roger Goodell has since jumped in with this crew. It's such a real raw crew. We're all messed up, man, but we're good with our messed upness. We're proud of it. We're good. I'm good being messed up, man. I'm going to help others with it.
Well, you're the best, Glaze. And go check it out at Jay Glazer. And you can
Players,
follow Nate
get
Bowen.
help. Come join our team.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.